we can move on to the next session, that is dermatitis or eczema. The eczema include several disorders. Okay. The dermatitis, the name include, it is the inflammation on the epidermal layer and the dermal layer, in which the inflammation focused on the epidermis, especially the epidermal layer and the dermal layer will be affected. Eczema, it is usually divided in two forms, that is exogenous eczema and endogenous eczema. Exogenous eczema usually from outside cause, that is chemicals, irritants. When we are contact with all these irritants, there may be chance for the dermatitis. That is known as the exogenous eczema. Under that, irritant dermatitis, allergic contact dermatitis, photodermatitis. Another classification is endogenous eczema. Endogenous eczema, the origin will be endogenous in nature, that is inside our body. So it is divided in atopic dermatitis, tyrosis alba, then seborrheic dermatitis, discoid eczema, hand eczema, steatotic eczema, gravitational eczema, lichen simplex chronicus, prurigo nodularis. It have another classification too. You can study the simple forms. Okay. The first we can see the endogenous dermatitis. In that first one, atopic dermatitis. We can see the definition of atopic dermatitis. It's an inflammatory skin disorder characterized with erythema, edema, intense pruritus, exudation, crusting and scaling. So it's a skin disorder. What is the characteristic of this skin disorder? There will be erythema. Erythema means redness. Edema, it's a fluid-filled space, right? So then intense pruritus. Intense pruritus means itching, severe itching. Then exudation. There will be fluid leak, or from the edematous area there will be fluid leak. Okay, exudate may come outside. Small pods will be there, and from that area the liquids will come out. That is known as the exudation. Then crusting. Okay, after that they will form a crust. Then after that there will be scaling. Okay, so these all are the feature of atopic dermatitis. The causes of atopic dermatitis include genetic mutations, environmental factors, dysfunction in the skin barrier, dysfunction in the immune system. So genetic mutations means family history. Okay, if the patient have the family history of atopic dermatitis, it may transfer from one generation to another. It's a hereditary link. Okay, so that's why there may be chance for gene mutations. Then these gene mutations may transfer from one generation to another. Okay, so that is the first one, genetic mutation, genetic makeup. Then environmental factors. In the environmental factors, main factor is air pollution or small particle pollutions. Okay. This polluted environment that may harm the skin and cause dermatitis. Okay, that is the environmental factors, though in which area we are living. Okay, if sometimes if we are living in an industrial area, okay, there may be high chance for the air pollution, right? So that may cause the atopic dermatitis. Next one, dysfunction in the skin barrier. Dysfunction in the skin barrier means due to any damage to the skin, our skin barrier may be problematic and may get infected. Okay. Another thing, our excessive hygiene. Okay. So excessive hygiene that may cause damage to the cells of the skin and leads to our barrier become weak and leads to the infections. Okay. So the problems with the skin barrier, if any excessive damage or injury to the skin or the excessive hygiene, that may impair the cells. So they will not do the its function properly. Next one, dysfunction in the immune system. Dysfunction in the immune system means due to any of the factors our immunities have problems or our immunity is damaged. For example, if there is staphylococcus infections, okay, there may be increased chance of IgE antibodies. So these IgE antibodies that will increase the level of eosinophils and the allergic reactions. Again, there is a chance for dermatitis, right? So in the immune system, immunity that protects the body, right? But if there is any dysfunction in the immune system, that leads to atopic dermatitis. Example is the infection with the Staphylococcus aureus. Okay. Actually, regarding the clinical features of atopic dermatitis, it includes in different stage. Okay, the infantile period it will be, childhood period it will be, and adulthood period. Okay, all this period the patient will have the atopic dermatitis. Okay, that is the impact of dermatitis. So here in the infantile type, it's a generally acute stage and lesions mainly on face and the extensor surface of the limbs. Okay, in this picture you can see the child face is affected and in the limbs the extensor part only it affected. Okay, and in case of in the childhood type, it starts from 1 to 2 years of age. Okay, from the age of 2 years, the child develops atopic dermatitis and polymorphous manifestations with a different type of skin lesions. Polymorphous means multiple morphology. There will be different shape, different lesions. Okay, polymorphous, multiple faces will be there for the lesions. Okay, sometimes annular, sometimes circular, sometimes concentric or sometimes ring shape. Okay, and different type of lesions, vesicles, papules, then crust, scales. Okay, polymorphous manifestation with a different type of skin lesions. Then lesions particularly in the flexural folds. So most of the folds, especially in the axilla or in the neck folds or in the knee folds. Okay, in that area the child will have the dermatitis. Okay, so that is known as the childhood type. Next, in case of adolescent or adolescent type or adult type, here often present lichenified and excoriated plaques. Lichenified and excoriated plaques will be there. So lichenification means due to irritants or due to irritations or due to the skin damage, continuous skin damage, there will be a new layer of skin lesions will be there. Okay. It will be more thick and it doesn't have the function of normal skin. When we touch the skin, it will be very hard. Okay, so the patient will have the lichenification and also the plaques formation will be there. At flexors and wrist, ankles and eyelids, all these areas, the patient will have the atopic dermatitis. And head and neck, involved in the upper trunk and shoulders and scalp also infected. Might have only hand eczema or present with the prurigo like. Sometimes the patient may have only hand eczema. Okay, or sometimes there will be all the flexures or the wrist or ankles or the eyelids or the scalp. All these areas there may be chance for the dermatitis. Okay. Okay, in this picture you can see the areas of infections or areas of skin lesions. For the infant, in which all are the areas? For the child, in all the flexural areas, or the adult, there will be in the arms and the legs and the toes, wrist. The scalp also will be present. Most of the time there will be in the extremities. Okay. Picture you can see the mild case of dermatitis. So you can see the redness, erythema here, right? This picture also the patient have erythema in the trunk and the ear, back of the ear there is erythema. Okay, and it is in different shape. Okay, polymorphous. Then here we can see the severe form of atopic dermatitis. Here there is plaque formation, lichenification is there because the skin is black. It is differ from the normal skin due to the continuous irritation and the itching. And you can see the vesicle and small exudation is there within this. Okay. So these all are the features. Okay, this is also a severe form of atopic dermatitis. Here there is scales can be seen. Okay, extremely dry skin and the skin is excoriated and lichenification is there, plaque is there. Okay. Regarding the diagnostic measure of atopic dermatitis, the clinical features itself will help to understand the diagnosis, but we can confirm by the atopic dermatitis by laboratory test. First one, IgE levels, increase IgE levels. Okay, second one, if the patient have allergy to food or inhalant allergy is there. Okay, if the patient have history of any allergy, then there is increased chance for atopic dermatitis. Next one, concomitant rhinitis and asthma. Okay, we will say ectopic triad. Ectopic triad means if the patient have concomitant rhinitis, the patient have asthma and the patient have dermatitis. All these features is present, we will say it is in the ectopic triad. Next one is eosinophilia. Eosinophilia again the feature of allergy. There will be increased eosinophil count if the patient have allergic reactions. Next one, increased histamine levels. The same way, if the patient have allergy, there will be increased eosinophil, increased histamine and increased IgE levels. If all these levels are increased, we can confirm the condition as atopic dermatitis. Along with the laboratory test, we can divide two criteria for the atopic dermatitis. Okay, usually the criteria is divided in two forms, major criteria and the minor criteria. So in major criteria, pruritus, characteristic morphology and distribution, facial extensor involvement in infants and children, and flexural involvement with the lichenification in adults, then relapsing course, then personal family history, then occurs before 2 years of age. All this contributes to major criteria. Okay. And the minor criteria or minor features include early age onset, cirrhosis, immediate skin test reactivity, cutaneous infections, nipple eczema, pityriasis alba, anterior subscapular cataract, itchy, then recurrent conjunctivitis, keratoconus, then facial erythema or pallor. Okay, so there are a lot of features are there in the minor criteria. When we are concluding that the patient have atopic dermatitis is, patient must have three major criteria. In the major criteria, if the patient have three or more major criteria is present and three or more minor criteria is present, then we will confirm that the patient have atopic dermatitis. Atopic dermatitis have acute and chronic state, so that's why it will be exacerbated during the favorable conditions. So the first thing what we have to do is, in order to prevent the infection, is predisposing factor. Identify the predisposing factor and triggers and prevent them. Then prevention and treatment of general problems, then topical treatment, systemic treatment, and we have to give education to the client. So in general measures, which all are the things we have to tell to the patient is, first one, maintain adequate hydration. Then educate the client in order to avoid frequent hand washing, avoid frequent and lengthy bathing. Then use lukewarm water for bath. Avoid frequent use of soap or detergents. And most of the time use lubricants, moisturizers, or bath with oils. Okay, use oils before bath or after bath. Then preferably maintain the moist skin. Then avoid temperature changes and sweating. Okay, in order to avoid the temperature changes, maintain cool and stable temperature in the home. Then do not overdress. Avoid the use of wool. Okay, may cause allergic reactions. Limit the number of bedclothes. Avoid sweating. Maintain the humidity in the winter season. Then next one, avoid emotional management we have to do. Okay, if we are emotionally up or emotionally stressed, there may be high risk for atopic dermatitis. So emotionally, the person may try to maintain their emotional levels. Okay, then avoid contact with the dust and airborne allergens. Then remove rugs and carpets. Vacuum clean the drapes and blankets. Use plastic mattress cover. Then avoid cigarettes. Avoid pollen contact. Okay. Then avoid irritants such as soap, detergents, cosmetics. Avoid household and industrial chemicals. All these things have to check or have to do by the patient. Okay, all these areas the patient have to take care. All these are the triggering factors for the atopic dermatitis. So education should be given in these areas. Next thing, we have to give the topical treatment. Topical treatment, usually we are giving topical corticosteroids in the infantile phase, and the children and adults we are giving the topical steroids. Then systemic antibiotics, mainly we are giving is cephalosporin, cloxacillin, erythromycins for 7 days. Then next one, we are giving antihistamines. For example, hydroxin, that may administered 10 to 20 mg, or doxepin. Okay, based on the need of the patient. Then we can give the systemic corticosteroids. that we will give 1 to 2 weeks in case of severe atopic dermatitis. Then as in the severe cases, sometimes hospitalization is needed, especially for 7 days or 1 week. It is better to maintain bed rest in semi-darkened room, and visitors is restricted. Okay. And bath, the oil bath, that is better for the patient. Okay, these all are the management we have to do in order to prevent the exacerbation. In case of mild, moderate and severe cases, okay, in mild cases we are giving topical steroids, then calcineurin inhibitors, then antiseptics. Okay, these drugs can be given. Then moderate, against antihistamines. Then ultraviolet therapy can be given. Then in severe cases, hospitalization, systemic immunosuppressive drugs, interferons, cyclosporins, okay, PUVA therapy, azathioprine, all these drugs can be given. Okay, so based on the appearance of dermatitis, it is divided in mild, moderate, severe form. In severe form, there will be lichenifications, plaques, and most of the time all over the body this dermatitis will be present. Okay, in the mild form means there will be a dryness of the skin. Okay, so just emollients and steroids that will help the patient. Okay, so that's about the atopic dermatitis.